Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Aloha Friday, guys. Yes, it's Friday. It's finally the weekend, and it is super, super hot in Hawaii. I don't know if it has to do anything with the volcano. Probably the volcano ash is in the sky, so the fog is causing, a lot of heat here. Not too much trade winds. I wish the winds would blow that thing back. But I still feel sorry for a lot of people over there on the Big Island, and hopefully, they're saying killer whale might blow up, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, we're still here. We're evacuated. We're still talking about movies, specifically DC movies. And something pretty interesting dropped today, I think. Fanboy, Mario Robles, he had put out an extensive podcast, and I think you should check it out. I might put Actually, I'm going to try to find a link because it's on an app on my phone, but I can find a link for you. Usually he writes an article right after. He might have already, but usually he writes an article after pertaining whatever he talked about and put it in. But I'll put that on the bean, I think, in my description. So anyway, he dropped some pretty big bombs. Now, these are rumors per se, but he claims he has some sources about this. So I'm just going to let you know that in advance, that don't have any much expectations, just knowing that some people are talking about this. And let's discuss what people are talking about. So the first major news from him is that his sources claim that Warner Brothers is actively looking to release the Man of Steel sequel, or at least a Superman film, in 2020. And that is exciting. And I'm like, wow, yes. And that makes kind of sense because we know from the three films that are coming out, we got Aquaman, we got Shazam, we got Wonder Woman 2, that's all 2019 stuff. There's nothing after that. There's nothing after. We've heard stories about New Gods. We've heard stories about, Suicide Squad 2, Birds of Prey, Black Hawks, and all these other movies that they're talking, Deathstroke and stuff like that. But like, everybody's asking, where is the Superman movie? Where is our Superman film? Come on. And then we got some hints and things about Henry Cavill doing that curious smile when asked about the Man of Steel sequel. He said they were talking about things. We know had Matthew Vaughn and Mark Millar had meetings and stuff like that, but that was still the original direction that they were going for. But so this is the new team. This is the Walter Hamada team, right? So I think, and from the podcast that it talked about that Henry Cavill is really shepherding this whole thing. Him and his representative, and Danny Garcia, they're really shepherding this thing. He's had talks with Christopher McQuarrie, as previously reported. McQuarrie really is kind of interested. If you ask him to make a Superman film, he will do it. There's also talk about different directors being involved. Peter Jackson and two other big names. Christopher McQuarrie could be one of them. Who knows, right, at this point? But from what he says, from Mario says on the Fanboy podcast, is that there is going to be a Superman film in 2020. It goes in production 2019, next year. I can't believe when I'm saying 2020, it sounds like it's really, really far away, but it's not. It really isn't. It's just 2 years, less than 2 years, because we're almost coming into the middle of 2018. So that is quite amazing, and that's quite something. It also confirms a little bit about the studio Walter Hamada wanting to focus on the core characters, the core Justice League members. So we're not going to talk about Suicide Squad. We're not going to do the Harley Quinn and things like that, even though they're making, or those pictures are going to possibly be made. Those are now seemingly long-term projects. Not the short-term. Long-term meaning like 4 or 5 years from now, because they're being development, or they're being on the slate. But the midterm, I guess the short term would be Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman 2. Then there is the ones after that. Then there's the longer terms after that. So in terms of that. I guess you can call it short term of 2020 films. And then if you go on boxofficemojo.com right now, there are slates that are being held by Warner Brothers, and that is February 2020, Untitled DC Film, Untitled DC Film in April 2020, June 2020, Untitled DC Film, and Untitled DC Film for 2020 of July of 2020. So that might be too close. June and July may be a little bit too close, but they're locking down some dates on that. It's on upcoming releases on Box Office Mojo. You can go and check that out. Now, that doesn't really mean anything. That could just be placeholders for things. Sure, we had the same thing with Teen Titans Go. There was supposed to be a DC film that's coming out, but Teen Titans Go is in place of that. It's still part of the Warner Brothers thing, but there's those possibilities as well. But just looking at that, just looking how we're getting one DC film this year in Aquaman, 2 DC films next year, 3 DC films the year after. I don't know. It's very interesting to see that. I'd say at least 2 would come out. The beginning of the year and one towards the end of the year. That would make a lot more sense than having a pepper between the February, April, June, and July. I think that's a little bit too close to each other. So we'll know more about that. But one of those dates could be Superman, and I can't be any more happy for that. I am so stoked to see a Superman. I need Henry Cavill to put Dawn on that suit and then come out, start flying again, start saving people, start fighting villains. I need another Superman movie, and it seems like sounds like from what Mario said, they're really pushing Superman to be that the moral compass of the DC Extended Universe. They're trying to make him the lead guy. And whatever happened with what Justice League came out, a lot of people came out saying that besides the CGI mustache, that it was great to see Superman come back alive, great to see how Superman was really overpowered or OP, and I mean that in a good way, that he's so strong and confident, and so that type of Superman is what Henry Cavill really wants to do, and so he's kind of shepherding that as well, kind of like how Rock, who by the way share the same representative, Danny Garcia, The Rock shepherds his own films as well. Even though he's just an actor, he's such a big star and he's able to do that. That's incredible. If Henry Cavill can do the same way, that's incredible as well. I mean, he's such a great guy. It seems like he's such a great guy. Very mellow, very not very outspoken and things like that, but sounds like a really down-to-earth type of guy, and so I really want to see him shine. I really want to see this Superman shine. I want to see more of this Superman, and I can't wait to see it. And it looks like it's coming out in 2020. Put your thought down below, by the way, who you want to direct that. There's so many people in line for that. If it's Christopher McQuarrie, I'd be really down with that. So I'm very interested to see what that happens. And why is he... So Mario and Elfenbank Fanboy Cast was trying to say why they would put Superman in the forefront now. And it makes kind of sense because we've been talking about Wonder Woman a lot, and Wonder Woman was kind of like the forefront, but that was the old team, John Berg and Jeff Johns. Now that there's a new Walter Hamada team, not that it's saying Wonder Woman is not important. She is going to have her own movie in Wonder Woman 2, but they need that moral compass, and they want to see that symbol of hope once again, which is Superman. And they're saying that they have this guy who's ready to play Superman. He's ready to do it. Get him out there. Let's bring him out there. Let's make a Superman film. And for a studio that always concentrated on Batman this, Batman that, it seems like with Ben Affleck and all the talk of him leaving or not leaving or all this kind of uncertainty, maybe they just want to kind of let that one ride out with whatever Matt Reeves has planned. And so now they're going back to saying Superman, say let's just make a great Superman film and get that out there. So, and he also by the way mentioned regarding Ben Affleck as Batman is that Ben Affleck is indeed out. He's gone. He's no longer going to be Batman. They're not going to write him off in a story like Flashpoint, because Flashpoint doesn't exist anymore. It's now just a Flash. They're not going to write him off through a story. They're just going to completely change the actor Don Cheadle style, how I kind of thought they would if they were going to do it. And Mario mentions that it was more of a rumor, or kind of maybe happening, that Ben Affleck will leave, but now it's more certain. Now it is indeed true. So, play whatever you want with that as well. But he is saying that Ben Affleck is indeed gone. They're going to have a new Batman for the Matt Reeves Batman, and it's possible Batman could be one of those 2020 release dates as well, which is interesting. I think it could possibly. They got the director. He's working on the script. He's working on the story already. And so by that timeline, 2020 is a safe year to say what movies are coming out. Superman, Batman, and even The Flash. So if they're going to concentrate on core characters, The Flash will be the other one, because they have directors involved in that. The Game Night directors, which, by the way, I actually enjoyed Game Night. I finally got to see Game Night, and I actually quite enjoyed it. It took me by surprise how the music was pretty catchy. I like that one long shot where they're all trying to grab the egg. It's a one continuous shot, and I thought that was pretty freaking brilliant on how that shot was made. I was like really impressed by that. I was impressed by the twists and turns, and the interesting ending put, and how it all came together. I don't know. I can't think of that movie and think of, oh, great for Flash, but I can see their style coming out, and I think I rather really enjoyed Game Night. But The Flash could also be coming out in 2020. So you got three major comic book movies in the DC Extended Universe, three major comic book characters, rather. Superman, The Flash, and Batman. And if Mario is right, and they're actually going to pepper in Superman in all these other movies, Superman could be with Flash in one movie. I don't know if he'll be in the Batmobile in one movie, but he'll may end up in Shazam and things like that. He'll just pepper him like Nick Fury, like what some people have reported, which is very interesting to tell. I'm okay with that, because any more Superman is better for me. It is certainly different than peppering Batman into Suicide Squad and things like that, or mentioning Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Wonder Woman, the beginning and the end. It's certainly different. We're going to be more Superman focused, and I think that's a great thing. I think for me, as a big Superman fan, I am really happy to hear about that. So we'll see what happens for now. But take this what that Fanboy podcast with a huge grain of salt. He has been wrong before with the Aquaman trailer not playing at CinemaCon, or was it the Dragon Con? I forget which con, but WonderCon. He was wrong that before, and he claims he was right about certain things. I don't know, but I'm just telling you what he said, and you can interpret it however you want. But for me, the big takeaways that came out of that podcast is that there's going to be some major DC films coming out in 2020, production in 2019, or even this year. And Superman is one of the movies that they're really trying to focus on. Warner Brothers is trying to get it out in 2020. Ben Affleck is not Batman anymore, and Flashpoint is a Flash, which we already knew. So that's what my takeaway from that is. And so please go and check out his podcast, hear it out, let me know what your thoughts about that, and see what else you have heard. Nothing on the Snyder Cut though. Nothing at all. And so that is disheartening. I was hoping for a little bit more news on that. Zack Snyder seemingly been quiet on the forefront in the Vero postings. I'm just wondering what's going on with that. That is truly something. I'm still hoping, crossing my fingers for some type of update and news at San Diego Comic-Con, which is coming out it's really soon. It's right around the corner in July, right? So hoping for some big news on that. But right now, now, I'm just happy that more talk about Superman. I think he deserves to come out on the front. He deserves more films, man. Come on, let's get those Superman films rolling. Let's do it. Let's get it beyond Lex Luthor. Let's get it beyond, well, pretty much Lex Luthor and General Zod. Let's get it into other territories we've never seen before on the big screen in any case, like Brainiac and Metallo, and just there's so much content in there that they should really tap into. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts on all this and comment down below. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend.